Jimmy Kimmel Live will return Tuesday, Disney announces. Disney and ABC have walked back their suspension of Kimmel's late-night show. Disney announced Monday that Jimmy Kimmel Live would return to ABC Tuesday night, reversing the company's September 17 decision to suspend the late-night show indefinitely. The suspension came after host Jimmy Kimmel faced Republican backlash for a monologue about far-right commentator Charlie Kirk's killer, which led Federal Communications Commission (FCC) Chair Brendan Carr to pressure ABC to punish Kimmel. Objecting to Kimmel's comments, Nexstar Media Group announced that its ABC affiliates would preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely. Don't miss out on our latest stories. Add Mashable as a trusted news source in Google. Disney explained its reasoning for Kimmel's suspension and the move's subsequent reversal in a statement to press, saying, "Last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive." The statement continues, "We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday." The backlash to Kimmel's suspension was considerable. Kimmel's fellow late-night hosts and hundreds of Hollywood celebrities decried Disney's decision as a threat to free speech, and Disney Plus and Hulu users canceled their subscriptions in protest. The city of Los Angeles has always thrived on spectacle, anticipation, and reinvention. This week, that energy was turned up another notch when Disney announced that Jimmy Kimmel Live will return Tuesday night. For millions of viewers, the news wasn't just about a talk show coming back on air. It was a signpost, a cultural moment, a reassurance that late-night television's familiar humor and sharp wit will once again be part of the nightly rhythm. A return wrapped in anticipation. For months, questions had swirled around Kimmel's next steps. Would he return after his hiatus? Would the format of the show change? Would late night, now challenged by the sheer dominance of streaming and social media clips, still carry the weight it once did? With Disney's announcement, the speculation ended, but the curiosity only deepened. The statement itself was simple. Just a few lines confirming that Kimmel and his trusted crew were stepping back onto the stage Tuesday night. Yet in today's media climate, simplicity can be powerful. A few lines were enough to ignite thousands of retweets, Reddit threads, and predictions from media analysts. Everyone seemed to have an opinion, and that was exactly the point. The power of timing. Disney's timing was deliberate. Tuesday sits at the crossroads of a television week. Far enough from the Monday blues that audiences are ready to laugh, but early enough to set the cultural agenda before the weekend. In the high-stakes world of network programming, timing is a weapon. By choosing Tuesday, Disney and Kimmel were essentially declaring, "This is the weeknight you'll want to stay up for." There's also the undercurrent of competition. Fallon has been steady but struggling. Colbert has leaned heavily into politics. Seth Meyers caters to a niche. Kimmel, meanwhile, has positioned himself as both topical and irreverent. A comedian who can move seamlessly from heartfelt monologues about his son's health to roasting celebrities in viral sketches. Tuesday gives him the breathing space to shine without being lost in the Friday night rush. Kimmel's balancing act. Over the years, Jimmy Kimmel has transformed from the snarky, prank-loving co-host of The Man Show to a trusted late-night anchor whose monologues sometimes double as editorial essays. This balance, between comedy and conscience, is his magic trick. With his return, speculation is already swirling about what tone he'll strike. Will he come out swinging at the political landscape? Will he address the shifting dynamics of Hollywood itself, especially under the ever-growing shadow of streaming platforms? Or will he go lighter, offering audiences an escape rather than another lecture in disguise? A reliable content engine. A clever parody sketch can rack up millions of YouTube views overnight, generating ad revenue and cultural buzz. A poignant monologue can trend on Twitter, giving Disney a kind of social relevance that theme parks and animated films can't always deliver. By anchoring Kimmel in its lineup, Disney signals that it's not just about building streaming platforms. It's about keeping one foot firmly planted in live, communal, appointment-based viewing. The Tuesday show as theater. Picture the return. The lights rise over Hollywood Boulevard. Tourists hover outside the El Capitan Theater, snapping selfies with the marquee that beams Jimmy Kimmel Live back into the cultural spotlight. Inside, the energy buzzes. The band rehearses a jazzy riff. Writers huddle backstage, fine-tuning punchlines and anticipating the audience's reaction. Then, at 11:35 p.m., Kimmel strides out. The applause is thunderous, both in the studio and, by extension, in living rooms across America. There's a rhythm to these shows that is almost theatrical. The monologue, the banter, the guest introductions, the signature games. The familiarity is the point. It's ritual, comfort food in a chaotic world. And yet, because Kimmel thrives on surprise, there will be at least one moment that breaks the pattern, a spark that becomes tomorrow's headline. The cultural echo. In truth, late-night shows today aren't just about television. They're about the echo. What clip will circulate on TikTok by Wednesday morning? Which joke will land in a politician's social media feed? Which celebrity anecdote will spawn memes before the credits even roll? Kimmel's return on Tuesday is designed not just for viewers who stay up late but for the millions who will catch snippets during their commutes, lunch breaks, or endless doom-scrolling sessions. Disney understands this. The show itself is a performance, but the afterlife of its clips is where its real power lies. Kimmel in the broader landscape. It's worth noting that Jimmy Kimmel is now a veteran in the late-night game. Once considered the underdog to Letterman, Leno, and later Fallon, he's outlasted many of his rivals by leaning into authenticity. He doesn't dance for virality the way Fallon does. He doesn't preach quite as consistently as Colbert. Instead, he threads the needle, offering a blend of silliness, sincerity, and sharp edges. His return Tuesday is, in some ways, a reminder of endurance. Late-night television may have changed, fractured, and morphed into a digital ecosystem, but Kimmel remains. That consistency is its own kind of draw. The audience's role. Of course, no return means much without the audience. And here, Disney is betting on nostalgia as much as novelty. Fans who grew up watching Kimmel prank celebrities, stage Halloween candy stunts, or deliver heartfelt speeches will tune in not just for entertainment but for reassurance. In a world spinning with uncertainty, political divides, industry strikes, the rise and fall of streaming empires, something as simple as knowing Jimmy Kimmel will walk out onto that stage Tuesday night can feel like stability. It's the small, familiar rituals that sometimes carry the most weight. Looking ahead. What happens after Tuesday? That's the longer story. Will Kimmel evolve his format to keep pace with digital-first audiences? Will Disney leverage the show more aggressively on Disney Plus or Hulu? Will the late-night wars reignite, or will they fizzle into fragmented niche audiences? The only certainty is that Tuesday's return is just the opening move. Kimmel, Disney, and late-night television itself are stepping into a new chapter. One that blends tradition with reinvention, nostalgia with innovation. Closing scene. So, when the cameras roll Tuesday night and Jimmy Kimmel looks into the lens with that trademark mix of smirk and sincerity, it won't just be another episode. It will be a signal flare that the laughter, the satire, the cultural conversation is back. Disney may have made the announcement, but the real declaration comes when the lights dim, the music swells, and Jimmy Kimmel, live and unfiltered, says, "Welcome back."